basket. But we have a brand new head coach, and when you achieve the things that the Pump Jacks have been able to achieve the last 5 years, you start attracting attention from programs and from people who may have never been interested in the first place. Our new head coach, Mark Hertinian, has a resume that includes 9 years of D1 coaching experience. He was at Cal State Northridge, recruited 2 consecutive top 40 recruiting classes to Northridge. That's not a big name program, but he was still able to bring the talent there. This year we're bringing players in from teams that we've never really dealt with before. Oregon State won back-to-back titles in 2006 and 2007 in baseball. They're sending us 3 players this year. Never have touched the Pump Jacks before. We just announced these guys a couple days ago. Carlos Rodriguez, Nate Esposito, and Bo Day. Carlos, drafted in the 20th round coming out of high school by the Atlanta Braves, turned it down to go to college. Was the #1 ranked player in the state of Hawaii when he was coming out of college. And #1 in both high school and college. Anyone who was draft eligible, he was the top prospect coming out of Hawaii. Would have been drafted a lot earlier. The scouts said they were expecting him to be drafted between the 5th and the 10th round, but his commitment was that strong to Oregon State. Nate Esposito was drafted by the Oakland A's. And Bo Day, Bo is only about 5'10", 230. He's a tank out there. And in a recent series against Utah, I believe he went 6 for 7 with 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and single-handedly led Oregon State to a series sweep over Utah. We have guys coming from Long Beach State. We have guys coming from programs that generally wouldn't even pay attention to anything other than West Coast summer collegiate teams because of the profile that we've managed to generate over the last few years. And not only are our players coming from interesting programs, but they're also going on to bigger and better things. Sean and I were just talking about Hunter Dozier. Hunter's from the Denton area, goes to Stephen F. Austin, and had a very good freshman year at SFA. Came to us, and we were expecting big things out of him. First 2 weeks of the season, he had a swing like mine, which, not good. This is the reason why I'm in management. Didn't play very well. He went home because his mother was having surgery. Apparently that was weighing on him. Came back after successful surgery for his mom, and he was a different kid. Went out there and tore the league up. Right now, I would expect that Hunter's going to be drafted in the first 5 rounds of the draft this year. Lee Orr was the 2010 TCL Player of the Year. The guy could do anything. He was among the top 5 in home runs, was one of the best batting averages in the league, and on top of that, went out there and I think stole 21 consecutive bases. He just last week was named the Cal League Player of the Week. He's working his way up through the Padres system. Matt Curry played for us our first season. He reached AAA last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates system. And we have a former catcher who's now in the Texas Rangers system, and he's up in Frisco at AA ball. So these are guys that are going places. We've had 32 players who have been drafted suit up for the Pirates. 32. Last year alone, we had 12 players, former players drafted. These are guys that are going places, and it's a little different from leagues that have from teams that are independent. Those pro teams that you hear about that are independent, we talked about Amarillo. There are some others throughout the state of Texas. San Angelo has one, because those are players that have probably played in the system before. They've been released, and they're looking to catch on somewhere, anywhere that they can play ball. These are players with a future. Now, as much as I talk about what happens on the field, the reality is what brings a lot of the people to the ballpark isn't exactly the performance